And away we go. It is another nightcap. This time, Wednesday, July 27th, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Brought to you by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get your delivery via Uber Eats or stop down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up, save 15% off. There is a notification now, new hours at Galactic Fried, new days at Galactic Fried Chicken, not new hours. They will be closed on Monday and Tuesday, starting August 1st, open Wednesday through Sunday, as they're starting some projects and getting some things accomplished at Galactic Fried Chicken. Plus, one thing I love about Shane, man, and I hope I do this for you guys. You got to take care of the health and well-being of the employees, and he keeps that in mind. They're a little overworked right now. That's why they are still hiring. Shane at galacticfriedchicken.com. Make sure your people are well taken care of if you're in a position to do so. I try to do that with everybody except for Aaron. I work Aaron as much as I can possibly work him. Hi, Aaron.
Sounds about right.
Oh, you know that's not right. You have a fun job that you're required to do a couple hours a day.
I think everybody knows that's not right.
Ooh, Aaron. I got an email yesterday.
Go on.
From PlayStation that they were opening up sales of PS5 to loyal PlayStation customers.
Finally.
And I got my PS5 today.
Nice. Like you received it?
I ordered it.
Okay.
I was able to order it today.
Yeah. Well,
so it'll be here 4 days. So
I think the countdown is somewhere around, what is it? The 10th next year.
Yeah.
So we're at 17 days. So what? 348 days for NCAA.
And honestly, that's what it came down to. Was like, okay, this is my chance to get one without like having to really like panic.
Right.
A year from now, when it comes out, I don't really have time to play a PS5. I'm sure I'll get a game or two and like use it to entertain myself.
There's a ton of free games you can get as soon as you get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure I'll have a way to like put it to use and entertain myself.
For sure.
But the reason I bought it was so that when college football comes out next year, guess what we'll all be doing? Streaming college football on the Bearcat Journal Twitch channel.
Can't wait.
And challenging you guys. Like, games against viewers on the Bearcat Journal Twitch. I'm so excited for that to hit a year from now. Because I've been wanting to do this Twitch channel forever. Yeah. I'm just terrible at like shooter games or.
Well, obviously, we're gonna have to have a dynasty with people who are committed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't wait. It should be a lot of fun.
I mean, there's a possibility. Like, you don't really do Madden, do you?
I have pre-ordered Madden and pre-ordered 2K. Yeah.
Maybe some Madden, some Bengals Madden on the Bearcat Journal Twitch page. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. I gotta figure out a set. I get it. I just gotta figure out a setup because I don't have a TV down in the basement right now that I have for video games. I have PS5 set up in the living room, so
you can do it with the laptop.
Like I said, I just gotta figure out what I can do and what I need to have for a Twitch setup and all that, camera and.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to do like your face.
Oh, that's half the fun of it. I was thinking today, like I was telling Rachel, I said, you know what market's not tapped right now for the video gaming? A dad playing with the baby resting on his chest.
Like to test your like ability to stay calm.
Yeah, like
the baby's sleeping.
Come on. Oh.
The ball tips 3 times and they catch it for a breakaway touchdown in the 4th quarter, and you're like. Then you're just going to snap the controller in half because it's the only recourse you have of like violence.
I feel like I'm going to sound like something from what's that show with Kristen Bell, the Good Place, where you can't actually cuss. You're like,
right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm ready to. So the PS5 is on the way. I'm ready to like start exploring what it's going to take to really actually get the Twitch channel up and running and play some games with viewers and have some fun. I got the gaming headset ordered with it. So no, the new PlayStation
PS5
wire
one? Yeah.
PS5 one. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I probably shouldn't have. I didn't need it, but it looked really cool, so I did. All right, let's get to the Bearcat stuff of the day. There have been the watch lists are coming out, and we have talked a lot about the watch lists. Obviously, as we should. I think maybe the most we're doing this series of like under the radar things or things that maybe aren't getting as much play, things that aren't getting talked about as much. Maybe the most important one came out today. The Groza Award with Ryan Coe on the Groza Award watch list. Ryan Coe, obviously a transfer from Delaware, had an outstanding season at Delaware a year ago. He looks like a linebacker, like 6'3", 230 pounds. Here you go, Aaron. Last season, 13 of 19 on field goals, 68.4%. 2 of 4 from 50 plus, 5 of 7 from 40 plus, 4 of 6 from 40 to 49, 5 of 7, 4 of 6 from 30 to 39. But those numbers aren't indicative of the reality of the situation. This was a team last year. This was a coaching staff last year that did not, in important situations, feel comfortable kicking field goals.
Why would you? There were a lot of letdowns.
Hat tip to Cole Smith.
Sure.
Absent for a long time, was maybe the MVP of the Cotton Bowl in terms of, I would still go Sauce Gardner because he took Jamison Williams and he wrapped him up real nice and left him underneath the tree. But this team, for a while now, has lacked a true threat in the kicking game. And this kid has a big leg. We have seen it. We've seen how strong his leg is. We've seen how accurate he can be in Nippert Stadium. Not so much in the bubble, but the good news is you don't have to kick in the bubble.
Sure.
And we've talked to people about why that is, why you're prone to be less accurate in a environment like the bubble. But
because there's still smoke from Brady's first squat fest in there.
Because the Gatorade coagulated and it smelled like vomit for 3 weeks. But kidding aside, this is an offense, as we have talked about, with major weapons. If all you have to do, like we don't talk a lot of Bengals here, but let's use a Bengals example here. That offense changed completely when it was abundantly clear that as long as you were inside the 35-yard line, you were going to get 3 points. Like if you got to the 38, you were getting points.
Correct.
And that, like, it feels like with this Cincinnati offense, like even if you got inside the 15, you were still like, are we in range? Do we have to go for this on 4th and 7 from the 15-yard line? Like,
well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, even when the kick was up, you're watching like, I don't know,
right?
Sure. No, I think that this is fascinating that Ryan Coe is on the watch list. I think it's equally fascinating that Ryan Coe is a transfer this season, as was Nick Marner that we talked about just a few nights ago, as was Ivan Pace, who we talked about just last night, 2 nights ago, whatever it was. They have really been knocking it out on this transfer list. Like, and I know we've talked about it, but this is just another feather in the cap for what they have done with the transfer list. It's getting borderline ridiculous that every transfer they're bringing in seems to be on a watch list of some sort.
Well, first, I think you have to give a huge credit to Pat and Max in the recruiting department, because they are working with, hey, these are where we feel like we might need something. These are where we feel like we might need a boost. And what they've been able to do in terms of connecting dots, finding, again, what we have talked about on Luke with the transfer portal, he's very rarely bringing in guys that they don't have some level of connection to, that they don't have some familiarity, some comfort with. Obviously, Corey Kiner, they spent a ton of time recruiting.
Yes.
Noah Potter, they recruited. They know the people at Ohio State. I mean, Ivan Pace, we don't even really have to mention. Ryan Coe, there were a lot of connections in the kicking world that Brian Mason had that helped get him to Cincinnati. Like, if you go down the list, Jawan Briggs, they had a great relationship, through his recruiting process. They're not only being very tactical, but they're being insanely efficient, because there's a lot of schools that are bringing in a large number of transfers.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is not taking a lot of swings in the transfer portal. But the swings they're taking, they are squaring up and making very solid contact.
Absolutely.
How much does this offense change if Ryan Coe is one of the better kickers in the country? Because especially, like, if you still have, they're not going to be elite defensively like they were last year.
It'd be really tough to return to that level. Sure.
They're going to still play defense at a high level. You've got a lot of weapons on offense. You've got a quarterback situation that you're still figuring out. If you can get points on those drives that stall out at the 25, 30-yard line and turn it back over to your defense and say, go make plays, go get this done. Like, it changes the team. Like, we haven't talked a lot about Ryan Coe, even though we knew at the point that he was added, it was like, this is a big, big addition, because this is one of those things. It's one of those toys Luke Fickell really hasn't had to play with.
Even if he misses a couple times, the fact that you have a guy that you have that type of confidence in, to where you know that it's not dead at the 35-yard line. Like, we're not dead to rights. We don't have to punt or worry about punting.
7 at the 30. You're like, we have to go. We have to go, because we don't have anybody we believe can come in and hit a 47-yard field goal.
Correct. And now you have that wrinkle to where you don't have to go for it. And sure, Cincinnati was, I feel like, it seems like, at least in my memory bank, it seems like they were lucky more often than not in those types of situations where they were able to create.
The difference was it didn't matter, because even if you turned it over on downs, the defense came out, got a 3 and out, and your offense was back on the field.
And maybe that's why I don't remember a ton of those fourth down situations being catastrophic in the game, to where they were like game-changing drives without getting.
What's more likely this year is that the defense is still very good, but you're going to see 2 or 3 first downs a drive. And you didn't see much of that the last 2 years. You saw a shit ton of 3 and outs. Like, in sudden change situations, when there was an offensive turnover, boom, 3 and out punt, you got the ball back. Maybe you lost some field position, but ultimately no harm, no foul. Like, it feels like this year, and I'm sure we're going to get into this a ton over the next month, but it feels like you're going to see another first down or 2 on each drive for the defense on average, just because of the insane amount of talent that's now making millions of dollars in the NFL.
Agreed. And I think that, almost goes without being said at this point, right? We're not going to
But I know there's a lot of people that are going to say this defense isn't going to skip a beat. There's a lot of people that aren't going to be.
Who?
Listen to the vortex of Bearcat podcasts and people that are pontificating about. Look, you know us. We try to keep it as honest as fucking possible, right? Like,
yeah.
The defense is going to give up a little bit more this year than it did last year.
They're not going to be broken. They'll bend a bit more than they did. Yeah.
Correct.
But no,
we're not saying they're going to be bad by any stretch.
Right. I just want to make sure we're getting that out there. They're not broken, but there is going to be a little bit more bend, a little bit more give than there has been over the course of the last.
Especially as they come together as a unit. Like, these are a bunch of guys that haven't really played a lot of snaps together.
No.
Unlike last year, when everybody looked at the guy next to him, and basically they had been best friends for a decade. Like,
but now you have a guy who you don't have to worry so much about those types of situations in Ryan Coe.
Because you're putting points on the board consistently as long as the offense can utilize the weapons, move the ball, get some first downs, get into field goal range, convert the field goal. And now instead of, 3 empty trips, you've got 9 points on the board or 6 points on the board, whatever it may be.
It's a lot of pressure for a guy coming in and knowing that he is going to be heavily relied upon, just given the situation last year. But
yeah, sure.
Seems like a kid who, from all counts of anybody who's talked to him, anybody who's had any type of interaction with him, it seems like a kid who can handle that pressure.
Yeah. Real quick, we've gone a little longer on this than I thought, but not surprising. It's an important conversation of the game.
Yeah, it's a conversation we needed to have that we haven't really talked about too much. So,
AAC Media Day is tomorrow.
What a joke!
Are you going to be up at 10:05 to hear from Mike Oresco?
What are they doing? A Zoom call?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Being
cheap.
They're telling everybody who they are. Like, they used to have the elaborate clam bake, like this big ordeal. Like, now, yeah, sure, now you're in Dallas. You couldn't do a barbecue. You couldn't do what would match perfect with like the clam bake that you don't get to do anymore? Like a pig roast, like a whole pig. And you have everybody come down to Fort Worth and you do a pig roast the night before. And you have, I wonder how much of this is just like, look, like everything's going to be different next year. We don't care. Like, everybody's going to want to talk about something that we don't want to talk about.
The magic number is 338. That's how many days until July 1st. And that's how many days until we're done with Mike Oresco in the Zoom calls in this conference.
Dave put an interesting thought in my head today.
Yeah.
July 1st, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Holy Grail. It's a Saturday. Just an all-day party at the Holy Grail. Cincinnati's in the Big 12. We'll call it a meet and greet. We'll call it a board, a meetup, or whatever you want to call it. And we'll just hang out at the Holy Grail, and BCJ members can come down on that Saturday, pop some bottles, and celebrate the Bearcats finally getting out of this shit conference.
The only thing that would potentially derail that is if the Reds are in town, that place is going to be a madhouse.
They're going to be terrible next year.
Sure. But there's
the 50 people that are there for the Reds game.
It's
going to be fine.
There's no bar closer than the Holy Grail for a Reds game.
But we still can have our fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it's a Saturday, hopefully it's a Saturday night game at 6:40. We can just show up for long. We'll show up at 11.
Either that or we just run another subathon.
Dave wants to drink,
if he's not on vacation. Was he on vacation this last year on July 1st?
On July 1st? I don't think so.
All right.
He was on vacation before me.
That'll be July 4th weekend. I guess.
Yeah. Well, July 4th will be on Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, that is going to be essentially the celebrated 4th of July weekend that Saturday.
Yep.
Maybe we just find somewhere to throw a gigantic party.
Oh, the river doesn't have fireworks for July 4th. They wait until Labor Day. So
Labor Day.
I don't know.
Let's start marinating some ideas. Bearcat Journal family.
Of course,
we're at 20 minutes.
Somebody will throw a thread up there, and it'll get 400,000 views for God knows what reason. You guys are.
Let's get out of here. People get mad when these go over 20 minutes. We'll see you tomorrow night. BCJ podcast and a nightcap. I'm Chad Brendel. He's Aaron Smith. Galactic Fried Chicken is the sponsor. Bearcat Journal is your home. We'll see you tomorrow.